Hello again, it's April here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a let's play. No, I'm just joking. Today I wanted to share with you this game though that Martin and I have been playing. It's called Valheim. Some of you may know it. It's been super fun and I've really enjoyed playing it, and for the longest time, for probably about a month and a half, I thought it might be fun to paint some scenes from Valheim, and I thought this weekend was the perfect time because we just defeated the final boss that you can defeat in the game so far, and we're moving on to a new game. So I thought this weekend we could paint scenes from Valheim. So I'm going to be using the Strathmore mixed media sketchbook today, and I painted these on Twitch I think last week. I can't remember quite when I did them. I think it was on Twitch, and I kind of wanted to use that kind of style, which is why I was just showing you there. So I started off with some very light sketches. Normally when I do these kind of landscapey scenes, I don't actually use sketches at all, but I thought it might be good for this time just to get some pencils down so I can kind of see the rough values and shapes and stuff. But in the end, as usual, the paint covers everything, so you don't actually see anything. Probably could have saved myself about, 10-15 minutes. So first of all, I'm doing this really lovely forest scene, and I'm not going to include the person in the scene or the HUD or the map or anything. It's just going to be the landscape, and there's going to be two are from the biome in the game called the Black Forest, which is like this really lovely fir tree kind of forest area. It's really beautiful. It's actually my favorite biome in the game. And the second biome is the mountains, which is pretty simple, just the mountains. So there are like, how many biomes? 5 or 6 in the game that are currently in the alpha game, and these ones come up fairly early in the game, so I don't want to do any spoilers by doing the last couple, 2 or 3, but yeah, I thought it might be fun to do a couple of different scenes, one really nice sunsetty and woody, and one cold and blue and those kind of tones. So as usual, I'm using, well, I say as usual, but I've actually only been using gouache for the last couple of months, but I feel like it's as usual now because I've just used it a lot on streams, and I've used these pencils, these crayons a lot as well in streams that I've been doing on Twitch and in YouTube videos and Patreon videos. So I feel like this is like my new kind of, I don't want to say style, because I definitely will still use acrylic gouache. I just, when you get into using a certain medium or drawing a certain subject and you just kind of get hooked on it for a while, that's kind of where I am right now with this set of art materials, I guess you could say. So what I did first of all is use my gouache, and I have that gouache palette from a video I did a while ago when I first started using gouache again. It was where I tested 3 different gouache 3 different gouache sets, and it was Caran d'Ache, Royal Talons and Winsor & Newton. They've all pretty much gone now. I have used pretty much all of them, and I think I'm just using the Caran d'Ache at the moment, and the only reason I'm using the Caran d'Ache is because it's the closest, like I know where it is. It's in the top drawer of my art desk. I don't know where the other ones have gone, so that's the only reason I'm using the Caran d'Ache over the other 2. They're all very similar, I found, but yeah, I'll link the video above if you want to watch it. So I did that as a little base, and I don't actually use it again. I did mention this on my Twitch the other day, but I'll say it here just in case you missed it, that I don't know if I ever use gouache like other people do, like when they do lots of layers and it's quite thick, and I know that you can use gouache in lots of many ways, but when I think about gouache paintings, it's when they use it very thick and they do lots of layers and it's quite decorative and you can kind of tell it's gouache, I'm thinking like Mini Small and other people online that use gouache like that, and I don't think I'll ever use gouache like that just because I don't think I have the patience to learn how to use it like that. I find my art style over the last year has gone really like loose and really kind of not abstract but very stylized, and I really enjoy doing that kind of art. Like this here, I'm just doing shapes and stuff right now with these Caran d'Ache crayons. I'm moving on now to regular crayons, sorry. A little bit of sharpening interlude there. But yeah, what I was trying to say is that I've really gotten into doing these like super abstracty kind of like bigger shapes and loose marks and just little bits of like random color here and there. And I think half of that is because I enjoy doing that. It's fun, it's like messy, and you never know kind of what you're going to turn up with. You don't really have an idea. You're just kind of like figuring things out along the way. And the other half of it is probably just laziness, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I just don't really think I want to put in the time and the effort to try and paint realistically, or more realistically than this. And I don't really enjoy it. Like, I don't think I would enjoy painting a realistic landscape at all. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of sticking with the style, and I'm just gonna keep using it, see how it evolves. Well, I did find these fir trees very difficult to draw actually in this kind of like looser style, especially those more triangular ones at the back there. I did think they ended up looking a little bit cartoony, and I wasn't the greatest fan of them. But overall, I really like how these turned out, and the landscapes in general that I'm doing right now, I'm really enjoying. So back to the kind of method that I'm using. So after the gouache, you saw me putting on a whole bunch of Caran d'Ache, which are these pencils here. They're called the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons. A bit of a mouthful, but they're really fun. I think I got them in a pack ages ago, like 2 years ago, but I only started using them a few months ago, and I bought some more because I was really enjoying them, different colors and stuff. They're really nice. They're super nice just to use a texture like this. Like, sometimes I just use them afterwards, you'll see, just to add some texture, like especially the white in the sky there. Man, it makes it pop, doesn't it? But also it's nice to use to make water soluble. With these trees, I didn't want to go overboard and make them all water soluble, so I think in a second you'll see me kind of doing a little bit here, a little bit there. But if you look to the right, and you'll see the mountains there, big huge portions of that I've just basically made water soluble, and the texture still stays. The color gets a little bit more vibrant, and you can kind of blend it in a little bit more to the background. So you see here on the trees on the left, I'm kind of dabbing my paintbrush around, making some of it water, some of it not water, kind of keeping the two different textures going. The one thing about using these crayons is that you do have to use quite a lot of water if you want to draw on them afterwards. I find that even if you use just a little bit of water to kind of smush the colours around, that it's still quite hard to draw on with colour pencil afterwards because of the material they're made with. I think it's like an oily, I don't think it's wax, it could be wax, but it feels more kind of like oily, kind of like an oil pastel almost. I think I'm finishing up this one here. It was quite difficult to do these two because they do have the sea in them, but in the game the lighting kind of makes the sea and the sky almost merge into one at the bottom. So it was a little bit difficult to kind of get the sea in there. You'll see in the reference image there, they kind of all blur into one with the nice little reflection that I definitely forgot about. But yeah, those are my two little first ones, and now I'm moving on to the mountain. For the mountain, these two mountains came out, I actually prefer them over the sunset ones, which surprised me at the end. But I found them quite difficult because they're very abstract. Like, if you saw the reference images, which I bring on later, they all kind of blur into one, you know, snow, rock, trees. I mean, it was quite tricky for me to separate them all, especially because I'm not trying to be realistic at all. So I'm just kind of drawing on some scribbly trees there to kind of just show a little bit of the forest. And I was struggling with those trees up there. You'll see me kind of going over them a few times because of the white of the sky underneath. And I didn't want to make that water soluble because I really enjoyed how bright it was. So I just struggled a little bit with the trees, and I got there in the end. Really love how these turned out. The snow and just like the different kind of rock shapes there that I managed to get. I like it. So I moved on to the last one here, which has a big tree in the foreground, which I'm working on now. And yeah, that's about it. I basically just do the same. So this I thought was a really fun project because you get to play a game, obviously. Like, you don't have to play the game to do this, but I've done this before. I had another video where I drew houses. I kind of like drew the houses and cities from another game called Townscaper, and it is interesting because it just shows you that you can get different inspiration from other mediums and other places rather than art. Sometimes I find if I'm looking for inspiration, I'll just automatically go to Instagram and I'll search, you know, just go through the feed, or I'll look at my favorite artists. And sometimes it's almost like it doesn't give you like fresh inspiration. Like if you were to look at a book cover or an album cover or play a game, or even you watching a film and the title, you know, like the film titles where they show the characters' names and all the actors' names, sorry. Sometimes those are really inspiring too, like the way that they're done. they can give you inspiration, but it's kind of like fresh and new because you haven't seen it before, and it's not art. It's creative and like artistic, but it's not art, so it's kind of like more fresh, I kind of find, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, that's just a little something I just wanted to mention. When you're looking for inspiration, maybe find it in places that you wouldn't expect. So do you guys play Valheim, or do you play any other games that you think would be great to do this kind of thing, to either draw the houses, the architecture, even character design, or landscapes like this? I know there's a lot of games out there that have really beautiful landscapes especially, and scenes, urban scenes. There's so many games that you can take inspiration from. So let us know in the comments what games you find beautiful, and maybe I can try some more out, because I think this is a really fun little exercise, and it'll be fun to do in the future. So I'm just finishing off this painting, I don't know what you call it when it's like this mixed media piece, I guess. And I did like this one. I think probably my favorite of all four is the top one there with the mountains. I really like that one. So let me know which one you like the most. And these are the final. You can kind of see all the texture once I get in there, and of the Caran d'Ache and the pencil and all the different layers. It was a super fun video, and I hope that you enjoyed it. So that is all for me today. I hope you have a lovely rest of the week, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.